Hey guys, just going to do a quick video here. This is going to be a video response to ballinnick1982. He just posted a video today about, asking people what kind of game collector they are. He wants to know, do we just buy games just to buy them? Do we buy them because we want to play them? What's the reason why we're into this hobby? For the most part, the reason why I buy these games is because I do want to play them. I do a lot of research before I go into buying games. Usually I don't buy games just, off the cuff. I've done some kind of research going in to see whether it's a game that I'd want to play, or I do a lot of looking up stuff online, watching a lot of videos, seeing what other people are playing. So for the most part, I just buy my games because I want to play them. Now, being primarily an RPG player, because my games take so long to beat, I have, if you've watched any of my collection videos, a lot of my games I still haven't either gotten to or gotten all the way through. So there is that sort of thing where you just kind of, sit back and look at your shelf and you're just like, dang, I got a lot of games and I got a lot of games to get through, and there's not enough hours in the day to really get to them. He was just talking about how he just took back like 80-some games to GameStop, which, that's cool and all, but I know that for me, my collection, I really only buy games that I truly want to play, or that I truly want my collection. I don't go out just to buy, people just go out and buy just games just to, buy games. Like sometimes, I'll watch Finn Gamer, his channel, and which I love his channel, don't get me wrong, I love his collection videos, but sometimes he just buys like racing games from like 2002 because he finds them for, dirt cheap. I don't do that. I don't like to buy, like a bunch of games because they're cheap. Usually when I buy them, it's something that I really, really want. But I do look at my shelves and think, if I really wanted to, I could probably, square down my collection a little bit. But I don't like doing that because I've done a lot of rebuying of games that I've traded in the past. But for the most part, when I buy stuff, I usually try to buy it used or at the cheapest price I can find. The only time I really buy things new is when it's a company that I really want to support, like Xseed or Atlas. And especially with Atlas, I have to do a research into the game before I'm going to pre-order it. But I usually want to put my money behind games that I really feel like they deserve it, like Solita Robo and Radiant Historia. These are two games, I was just looking off my shelves real quick just to grab stuff. These are two games that I watched countless videos on, I read about, and I decided that this is something I want to throw the full price behind. I won't buy games like, Arkham City just came out not too long ago. That game is going to sell a zillion copies, no problem, you know what I mean? It's not something that I feel like, me personally, I need to put my full price money behind to make sure it's a success. Like these games, these are pretty niche titles, RPGs are, kind of a dead genre almost, so I definitely want to make sure I support my genre and companies that I think really need the help. Other than that, I do a lot of collecting of, I just buy, sometimes I do buy things just to have them, like, say, Snatcher on the PC Engine. This is a very text-heavy game, and I have a ROM of the CD, or Sega CD version, so I kind of wanted to have a physical copy just to say I have a physical copy of it. But this was, since this is a Japanese game and it's so Japanese text heavy, this was like $5. So I don't really feel bad about having this on my shelf. Will I play it? Probably, but not anytime soon, I do like having it and like to look through the booklets and stuff like that, and just to see how the Japanese really promote their games a lot differently than we do here in America. And then there's games, I do buy, if there's a series that really takes me, I do buy a lot of versions of that game. Like when I played Lunar, the Silver Star Story on the PS1, I just fell in love with it. So I got the PSP version, I have the Sega Saturn Japanese version, I have the Sega CD version, even though I don't own a Sega CD. I can play this on my computer though. But you know, I do like to, you know, get different versions of games that I really do enjoy, because there is a certain collector aspect to it. I mean, really, you only need one version of Lunar. I mean, the story, it does change version to version a little bit, but it's still the same core story, and kind of still the same core gameplay. So really, you don't need all the different versions, but I like to have them just, you know, to see the different artwork and stuff like that. And then, you know, I do, when I buy like retro games and stuff, you know, like Elevator Action. This is a game that I haven't played. I bought it at one of my local retro stores, and it's not a game that I've put in and played yet. I bought this purely on nostalgia factor, because this was a game that I would rent as a child and just play the heck out of. And you know, looking back on it now, it might not be that great of a game, but it was a part of my childhood, so I do kind of want to have it in my collection, because, you know, there are two types of people out there. There are video game players and video game collectors. You know, if I was just a video game player, then I would subscribe to GameFly and just, you know, rent games. But I do want to collect them and have them in my house, so one day I can show my children these and they can, you know, make fun of me and talk about how horrible these things are nowadays. And then, you know, talking about rare games and buying games, and hopefully that they, you know, increase in value. And while I do want to play it, and I have started playing it a little bit, you know, Pure Solar I bought as a game that I wanted to play, but also a game that I wanted to have because I know that it's going to be rare, and that one day, you know, this might be, you know, it might hold the same value that Earthbound does. So I do keep it very nice. I still have the plastic shell that it came in to keep everything really nice and pristine. So this is a case where it's something I want to play, but it's also something that I want to have just for the supposed value of it. You know, I'm not too big into buying super rare games. Like, I don't have Panzer Dragoon Saga. I do want it, but like Radiant Silvergun, you know, I don't own a copy of Radiant Silvergun because it's $170, and I don't feel like dropping $170 on one game. But I do have it on my Xbox. You know, they just released it on the Xbox Live Arcade. So, you know, there are times where instead of buying like a super rare game, if it's on like digital media, the downloading services, I will get it there. Like Musha. Musha is on the Virtual Console for the Wii. So do I spend $80 on the, you know, the cartridge to have it as a collector, or do I spend, you know, what is it, like 800 points or something on there to play it as a player? Those are the things I have to weigh sometimes. And, you know, there are certain times where I'll buy a game incomplete, like, you know, the Lunars on the PS1, or well, I've had Earthbound as, you know, since I was a kid, but if I was, you know, buying it now, I would buy just a cartridge only version to try to save some money, you know. So you have to weigh, you know, playing the game versus actually collecting. What else here? Well, like, and I think I touched on this with Snatcher, but like my Super Famicom, I have these Super Famicom games because the Super Nintendo is my favorite system, and there were so many games that we missed out on. Now, like Dragon Quest VI, I can play a Dragon Quest game, doesn't matter what language it's in, I can play it because I've played so many of these games and be completely fine, you know, with not knowing the story but still being able to make it through the game. Whereas like Seiken Densetsu 3, you know, I need a guide to play it, or I'll just play an English ROM on my Super Nintendo emulator. But I wanted to have a physical copy of the game because, you know, it is kind of important to me a little bit, like when I'm downloading ROMs to play on my emulator, to have a physical copy, not for like a legality issue, but just because, you know, someone put their a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into making this, and there is a certain satisfaction to having it on your shelf and being able to look at it. You know, like, you know, Ballinnick is talking about how, you know, he looks at his shelves and realizes that there's a lot of games on there that he doesn't want to play. But when I look at my shelves, you know, I do have some stuff that I just kind of have it just to have it. But for the most part, it's all stuff that I want to play. I just can't find the time to play it. But that is just a quick response to his video. You guys should check out his channel. He's definitely got a lot of great stuff to watch. I will see you guys next video. I can't really think of anything else to talk about in response to his video, so just go check out his original video, and I'll see you guys next time.